Hi, I'm Norman, and as you can see, we got quite a situation ongoing here. Now look at that. I've been to my parents' place and we had lasagna and it was so delicious. Thanks, Mom. But I ate so much. Seriously, I should stop doing that. However, you also might have noticed something else which is quite off. For people who don't know how a 3D printer actually looks like, it's flipped over so that I can access the electronics here. So here's the thing, I lately just changed this motor here in the back. Well, everything worked fine after that, but this is the old heat bed. I was just feeling like I could use a new heat bed because this thing has been running like 24/7 for about a year. So it's okay that it doesn't do its job anymore. So I was trying out different adhesion methods to keep the prints sticking to the heat bed. I just didn't like any one of these. You can see here I even didn't clean it up anymore after trying glue. I tried everything else which is you'll find on the internet. I just didn't like it. I just went ahead and bought a new heat bed. Basically this is just the heat bed and the glass is I'm gonna get it. So okay, this is the new glass. You put it has adhesion at the back. Tear it off, put it on. I think you get the idea how it works. I just bought an entirely new set. While I was actually trying to, hook up the wires here, I found something else which probably also had to do with my poor adhesion, which is actually that one little thing here where you screw in the power for the heat bed doesn't work anymore. I will need to replace the entire board which is controlling everything. That's a Rams 1.4, I don't know, Tri-Gorilla 1.1 board. It's basically, I think it's Arduino based, but I'm not sure about that. However, it's just a board. I need to buy a replacement. And then it's just like I wanted to fix one part. It's still recording us. It's just like I wanted to fix one part and then I found out the next part is broken, and surely enough I'm pretty sure one part of another is going to fall apart, and I don't want that anymore. I'm super mad right now at this printer. It's like an Asian dad which says, I have no son, you are a disgrace to our family. So I have no printer here right now. It's super annoying. Unfortunately, today basically the same printer in better was on the lightning deal. So I got a little bit weak and I bought a new one, and it's currently on its way and will arrive Sunday this week. I hope everything will work out fine with the delivery. That's just a quick update how my situation with the printer is right now. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating because I just spent 30 bucks on the new extruder. I spent another 30 euros on a new heat bed. By the way, I have been on a holiday, on a vacation, very short vacation. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the images, the photos, whatever. Maybe you'll get some footage of that. Yeah, that'd be nice, isn't it? Okay, whatever. See you guys. Okay, here we are again. I gotta put my watch back on. Yeah, it's always good to keep track of time when you start recording so that, well, you know how long the camera actually has been running. Finally, I've been waiting all week long to open this parcel, just to open it in front of camera. Can't really see what's going on down here, but it actually also doesn't matter. So as I expected, Inside that huge box is a lot of packaging material. And a little bit a smaller box. I think it's late at night and my brother is actually asleep. Sorry, brother. There's like a smaller box inside with a printer, and we're gonna open it. You know, I'd really love to do that on a table, but yeah, I don't have a table with enough space, so I'm just going to do that on the floor. People always forget that the floor is actually a lot of huge real estate when it comes to doing stuff. So not every one of us has actually a huge workshop with a lot of space. So if you're at home chilling, you can basically just, you know, consider working on the floor. Yeah, you might notice that I lack a little bit of sleep. So we're just gonna take out that foam here. We won't need that. So inside here is a box of stuff. Funny thing, I already know what's inside before opening it, because I somehow convinced my boss in the office that we need a 3D printer, and it's exactly the same one as this one here. So I'm like the 3D printer operator in our office now, and we're printing stuff 24/7. Every coworker runs something. Hey, you've seen that on Thingiverse, you've seen this on Thingiverse. Everything you can imagine is currently being printed. I'm actually quite familiar to this printer. Yeah, that's probably also one of the reasons which convinced me to get a new one, other than the ones I mentioned before. It actually only comes in two parts, which is the base. Everything already pre-assembled, so this is the y-axis here, running smoothly. And of course the rest, the z and the x-axis, are also inside here somewhere. Also, as every Anycubic 3D printer, it comes with a free spool of filament, which we are not going to use because it's white. Who prints in white, seriously? Black is the color to go, or transparent. I'm gonna talk about that in a second, or in 5 minutes, or whatever the video is going to take. Next part. And last but not least, comes the other frame. Pop this out here. It's just like two parts. How cool is that? If you've been around a while, or if you just know how to use YouTube, you might have seen the video where I got this printer here, the old one. It took like 4 hours to assemble this thing. It wasn't hard to build it together, it wasn't complicated, it was so much work to tear off the protective coating of every piece of acrylic, which is basically every piece of the printer. It just took ages and was such a hassle. Not fun at all. This Anycubic Prusa i3 Mega is basically a lot easier to assemble, because you just screw in like 4 screws on each side and you're good to go. We are going to do this exactly here, and I need to get some space. I have a bunch of stuff on my cupboard, basically everything which shouldn't be there in the first place anyway. So I'm going to clear this away, and then I'm gonna continue building this stuff. So I actually built these things, in case you wonder what these things in the background actually always were. They are acoustic panels to prevent the sound bouncing off every single wall here in the room. They make a huge difference. The audio was super clean in my room, but right now I had to remove one acoustic panel here to fit the enclosure I built in the last video. Now I will have to remove that panel here to make space for the next printer. Yeah, you gotta make sacrifices. The audio won't be that clean anymore, because now we are having like a huge surface bouncing off sound, bouncing back from the windows here, bouncing back here. So we're gonna have a lot of reverb, but that's okay, I guess. Okay, the printer goes right here. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Frame. Okay, so inside the goodie bag is a filament spool stand, which yeah, basically looks exactly like this. Yeah, it's exactly the same one. So I'm not going to build this up. That's a wonderful opportunity to show you how cumbersome it actually was to remove
the protective foil from these things here. It's flush cut, so there's no way you can just, you know, go underneath with your fingernails or something. You gotta roughen it up at the edges and then you can pull. And then you gotta be very, very careful not to tear it up. See, and if you have CNC parts like here with the Anycubic font type, whatever, inside, it's just going to mess up your teardrop. You can see already I left something here. Gonna tear that up as well. Okay, so you get the point how annoying it is. Once you're done with one side, you gotta do the other side as well. Imagine you gotta do this for like maybe 30 parts. Man, that was so annoying. So this is the stand, which I'm not going to use. Just gonna take everything out. Also, they deliver one part which looks very dangerous because it's inside of these glasses. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's something to clean your nozzle. So that's very cool that they deliver it, because they don't need to, but they did. One bag with all the tools you need, like little cutting pliers, screwdrivers, tongs, and also the screws which we'll need later. USB-B cable. Very good. It's actually a replacement hot end. You know the story behind my hot end with this thing? This printer didn't have any spare parts, and the hot end was the first thing to break down in this entire build, because I broke it, but that's another story. But you know, with this mega thing, they actually pack in another hot end. How cool is that? Also, one of those, you recognize them. Of course, power cable and instructions, which we'll also never read probably. And think big, make bigger. It's like, so let's just take out the screws here. By the way, you also get every single tool you'll need to assemble the entire printer. So if you start from zero and you have like nothing, no workshop, not even a screwdriver or a brain, you can basically just take this out of the bag here and get started. Here we go, we get out the screws. Nice, you'll also get another limit switch in case one of them breaks. Screws and the other thing, I don't know what it's called in English. And slide this in. Also make sure that no cables are actually caught up here in the middle, because yeah, this thing is kind of heavy and you don't want to cut any cables. Screws! Okay, so all you gotta do is align these holes, and I think everybody of you has screwed in screws at one point in their life, so there's no big deal. You don't need to see that much, but yeah, stupid thing, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna be left-handed for a second and screw these in. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. So actually they also provide you with 2 extra screws. I hope that these are replacement screws or extra screws, because I have no idea where they should go. So yeah, that's, you know, the additional price between those two is just like 80 euros or 100 euros, but you get like 300 euros in value with spare parts and time which you save with the assembly. You know, this just took like 10 minutes. I'm not done yet, I'm not fully done yet. All I need to do now is just plug in all the sensors and motors. Also, cool thing is actually that this one has a filament sensor. The printer will know when you run out of filament, and it will just stop the print or pause the print. You can continue without losing the process you already had with your print. And the cables are just here on the sides, just plug and play basically. Literally, you just plug them in. Also, cool thing is that the sensor, the filament sensor, has something like a magnet holding thing, and I just love how it's solved. The magnet is not quite strong enough to hold the sensor always in place, but the idea to have a magnet on a ball joint which is held by a magnet is just pretty cool. And well, the last thing is putting the light back so that, you know, I'm actually ignited by the light, but also, you know, power. Put that inside here on one side. So, should we fire it up? Number one. Number two. That's so cool. Like, there's a little speaker inside. Actually, also there inside is also a speaker, but this printer doesn't sing. You know, it has a touchscreen, by the way, and we could just press the home button and hope nothing breaks. Home all. This is like taking ages, but that's okay because the Z-axis is very, very slow, but it doesn't need to be fast because it's just moving microns at a point. Should stop right now. Great. So one thing which I do, which I actually also did with this one here, I don't know, you can't see it really, but here, that's the foam which came with the packaging of the printer. So we're just gonna take out that foam here. We won't need that. It helps reducing the print quality, but also it will make the printer a lot quieter. It will prevent the motors from resonating to whatever the printer is standing on. So just keep these and slide them underneath your printer. It will run a lot quieter with a very, very little sacrifice in printing quality. This way your shelf is not going to resonate. And this thing is beeping around, and I have no idea why it's doing this. Maybe because it's complaining that it doesn't have any filament. So we're going to make this printer a little bit happy and give it some filament. Yeah, it stopped beeping the second I put this through the filament sensor. So all I gotta do, put it here. And run that thing. No, it's still beeping. I'm kind of confused. Okay guys, what's so special about this extruder here? Right now on the other printer we have like a regular extruder. I don't know what that name is actually, but that's just like a regular extruder which we all know. The motor here is in front. Yeah, you have like a direct movement of your filament being pushed directly through the hot end, and that's it. The problem with this is actually these motors are kind of heavy. When this axis is moving around, it produces a lot of vibration. They solve this problem with actually putting the motor somewhere else in the place where it isn't moving. The Bowden extruder, I know the name of this one, solves the problem by pushing the filaments all the way through this white cable here to the hot end. It will just reduce the vibration when the motor is moving this way. Yeah, that's just pretty cool. So what we are going to do now is press on tools, preheat first and hope nothing burns. Then, yeah, it needs to be calibrated. We still need to level this bed out. The heat bed is actually covered by a piece of paper. It says this paper can be used for leveling. You usually use paper for leveling. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but people on the internet do. You just push and slide this piece of paper between the hot bed and the hot end, and you know, when you feel a little bit of resistance, you know that the hot end is actually touching the build plate, like so. You see, you still can push it, but it just has resistance. And then it's leveled. You just adjust the wheels a little bit until it feels right, and then we can actually start a test print, which is going to be awesome. Hopefully awesome. So you first check that every corner is somehow with a little bit of resistance here, and then you finally check the middle and see that there's no resistance. So what you're going to do is increase the friction at the corners a little bit more, so that you get a little bit, yeah, that's right, that's about right. Actually, this printer also has something like a leveling assistant, but I have no idea how it works and I don't want to learn it right now. So I just use the old classy way because I'm just comfortable with that one. So that's totally fine, I guess. We are going to home all. Take this out. Okay, that light just ran out of battery. That's kind of bad because I only have one, or the other one is inside the screen here, which I also need. So I'm just gonna... I prepared an SD card with a little elephant, which is kind of popular on Thingiverse. I'm gonna link it down below. And we're just gonna tuck this in to the SD card slot. Yeah, of course we could use the Raspberry Pi, which I, set up with this printer here. But right now I don't feel like... I just want to test print. Yeah, we just go into the touch screen, select the elephant, and then first, before we start actually, we are going to pull in the filament. The motor here in the back is pushing the filament through the cable here, as I mentioned before. We're gonna push it until it comes out. Yeah, these tweezers are awesome. I love them. That's like the most used tool which came with every printer I ordered. We're just gonna wait until it's in the front and then we're gonna stop. Yeah, currently it's here. I can see it because it's black and the cable is white. So it's going here. It's almost there, almost there. Very, very slowly. The printer is still beeping around. I have no idea what this means. Hopefully it means nothing. It's almost there. It's almost there. Okay, stop. We're there. Stop it, thank you. So now we can print. And it's going to heat up. It's gonna take a while. The print is about 3 hours, so I'm just gonna cut and I'm gonna wait.
So here we are again, and unfortunately I had to give that elephant away because, a friend of mine was feeling kind of down and I thought she could use that elephant. So I don't have it here anymore, but I gotta say I'm so satisfied with the printing quality. Of course, I know that printer, I know it's good, and it was exactly as I expected. Really, really fine outlines and all that stuff. So just gonna say, this one is my new friend.
You're my special friend.
And you guys want to know what's kind of funny? Actually, the Mega is a little bit smaller, has a smaller footprint than the Vanilla, the non-Mega. I just cut out the foot mat here, which I used for acoustic insulation, and that's just fits perfectly now. So the difference between those two printers when it comes to size is actually they have the same height, so that's not the difference. But the difference is that this one here has, I don't know, yeah, you can see it. It has a side-mounted motor for the x-axis, while this one has the same motor also mounted to the side, but also pushed a little bit to the back. Instead of being here in the Mega, it's here. So it's a little bit more flush with the edges of the printer, which looks also a lot nicer. So the next part where the Mega is actually a little bit smaller than the Vanilla is that the Mega, it has a higher base here in the bottom, but they both have the same height. So it means that you lose a little bit of the Z-axis, but that's okay because I've never actually printed something above 20 centimeters in height. I'm not gonna miss it. I think everybody who has a regular Prusa from Anycubic at least should upgrade to the Mega, because this thing, the metal frame makes such a huge difference, man. It's so stiff, everything, nothing wobbles, everything is smooth. Oh, right. You can see here the spool is inside. Another difference is that the spool here, the filament is being fed through the side, so it doesn't fit to the design of my box because I drilled a hole here in the top to be fed through the top, which worked with this printer. So that's one thing I gotta do. I think I'm just gonna do this right now. So I'm just going to eyeball this a little bit. Maybe just about here. That's gonna work. Okay. Nice. So of course we're not doing this for fun. This is hard work here, this printer. Because, well, we have a huge project up and coming. Finally, guys, finally, we have something creative to do again. So I also have been waiting for this moment. And in the next video, finally, we will do something creative with double finger pistols right now here up and coming with transparent filament, right? Yeah, I've been talking about that earlier in the video. Actually, I don't want to tell you that much about the project because I have been telling a lot on this channel and ended up doing nothing. But I already spent about $130 on materials here for this build, so I gotta do this. Yeah, be sure to stick around to see what's happening here because I think it's gonna be fun.